With that out of the way, let's go into our focal point today.
Yeah.
With all the new products that Nordost has introduced in Exponent, in Munich. So with the Qwave, the Qsine, the QBASE Mark III, and the QBASE reference. So what's very interesting me about Nordost power filtering, I would say, is the active component, the active approach. I think because like the only passive component inside of the QBASE or the QBASE reference is, I think, only the star topology. Most of Nordost power filter is active component. So why is that approach? What is the rationale behind using active component to target certain frequency or target certain band? And also, why not using a traditional approach like heavy transformer, CLC, CRC, something like that?
To begin with,
yeah,
we don't use filter technologies.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, that's a filter technology per se would be something that is in line.
Oh.
And even our active components are parallel, so they wouldn't qualify as a filter, because during all our research, we have found that filters do get rid of noise, but they also do get rid of dynamics. It's inevitable that you have something in line, it has to reduce energy. To begin with, we actually start off, the most important part is the passive way we work with things. And the star-Earth topology is not only any star-Earth topology, it is our specific, where we have a voltage directionality technology built in. So that means that we have a center in this star, but in our construction we actually we have a tiny lift of impedance, meaning that we introduce a directionality of the voltages going only in one direction. That is very important. The passive ways of doing this could be described as, if noise is the sickness, if you get rid of noise before you get sick, you don't have to cure it. So we want to minimize any noise before it even happens. Once that is done, there is going to be noise. I mean, we live in an environment today with so many external influences, lots of EMI and lots of RFI coming in. And we need to address this in certain ways. And our approach is parallel technologies, not in line, not filtering technologies. And the way we can do that means that we will keep the dynamics, which is in our opinion, the most important factor in order to have a very true high-end system, dynamics. So we concentrate, keep the dynamics at any point, and then we add on. That's why we call them plugins or add-ons.
Yeah.
So you can modularly do this and fine-tune the system according to the circumstances that you have. Because we will experience very, very different circumstances. One system may be having, really filtered power, as in pure power, and one system does not have that, and another system has a lot of leakage. They might be just close to a radio antenna or something, so there is a lot of RFI, and another is close to EMI, a very hard EMI interference. So it's all different, everybody has different circumstances, and we want to have a universal product that you can fine-tune according to your system and your ears.
Nowadays, you have a lot of switching noise. It's like you have fan, you have AC. There's a lot of things that introduce EMI into the audio system.
Yeah.
When is the new QBASE was introduced in Exponent? So a lot of people were very interested about these products, especially with the new topology, improved star-Earth, and also separate board from the signal and the ground. So what can the user expect the improvement compared to the previous version, let's say the Mark II?
Yeah, First of all, the difference between Mark II and Mark III is fundamental. There is basically not a single component inside the Mark II that has been transferred into the Mark III apart from the cable. And we have further expanded on what I was talking about earlier, the preventing noise from occurring instead of trying to cure it and get rid of it. And that is one of the things that we've done, is separating the ground from the live and the neutral layout. Live and neutral, the way it works, will actually create noise.
Yeah.
And it has to go somewhere. If you got the ground close to it, it will manifest itself to the ground. So we have not isolated it is a stretch, but we have separated it and put it as far away as we possibly can in that extrusion. So the ground is on one side, the live and the neutral topology is on the other side. Not only do we create a much better environment, not having noise getting to the ground, we also create a bit of a pre-Q core effect with this design. So the Q core, the parallel grounding, is also working and benefiting from this in a much better way. So all in all, to answer your question there, the difference between the Mark II and Mark III is fundamental. You will have much lower noise floor, way less background noise in your presentation, meaning that you will hear more detail. If we go into the subjective part of things, we have more detail. You get a better sound stage, three-dimensionality, and headroom is quite heavily improved. So it is a fundamental upgrade, definitely.
Yeah, so far in my experience as well, the Mark III have improved a lot on the depth perception.
Yeah.
Like especially with high-end system, you can hear the depth, the sound stage, the separation as well. So since so the QBASE is like a preventative measurement, like a vaccine. So let's talk about some like cure as well. Let's talk about the Qwave and the Qsine.
Yeah.
There's a lot of confusion in the audiophile like community about these products, because like oftentimes people often confuse of what it does. And could you please explain what is the Qwave and the Qsine is, and how does it work? Like does it supersede the Qwave and the Qcoil, or it work in tandem with them?
Yeah, well, let's clear that out immediately. The QK and the QV2, QK1 and QV2, are still present products, and they will work perfectly in conjunction with the Qsine and Qwave. The Qsine and the Qwave is add-on technologies. So a customer that already owns QK1 and QV2 does not have to replace that. You can just add on the Qsine and the Qwave. As soon as you have a spare socket, then you're good to go. Just add more to your own liking. Typically, the point of diminishing returns is quite far away. You can use a lot of products for this cumulative effect. Going into the Qwave and the Qsine in terms of their respectively technologies, Qsine is a third technology, if you'd like, in this concept. We haven't been using this technology before at all, and it is a way of aiming towards EMI and RFI noise by using a technology that is very similar to what dithering is in the digital world. For any recorder, any recording studio, or any person that is familiar with the...
It's like noise shaping technology.
Exactly. It is noise shaping. And we do the same, but in the AC domain. You basically create noise to push other noise away.
Yeah.
And this technology is, again, parallel. So we're not in line. We just introduce, because we're just next to the power line, we can introduce this dithering technology and thus getting rid or pushing other noise away. The Qwave is a technology that is quite similar to the QV2, although it's stronger and more precise. Over the years, with this type of technology, we have learned that being more precise gives us advantages of that we don't have to have the same strength in the energy field, the electromagnetic field, but the precision can be heavily improved. So the Qwave is basically using a sample wave, which is basically the AC wave. So you sample the AC wave according to the cycles. So if it is 50 hertz or 60 hertz, we sample that cycle. And then we reintroduce that with a pulsating, an added resonance technology. Basically allowing the AC to work more precise and with a better distinct pattern between positive and negative swing. The dithering and the sampling frequency is the sampling rates of the Qwave is happening in real time. There is no energy loss. It is just a direct connection to the waveform of the AC. And the dithering is a pre-made noise that is constantly being sent out. So we don't need to collect any information from the AC. We don't have to read anything or process anything. It is just a live direct communication with the energy form.
So if we have different products, where should it go?
The recommendation goes, you need to have the primary earth. This is the important socket. That needs to be connected to the heart where you have the most connection coming into your unit. So most likely your preamplifier.
Preamplifier, yeah.
Yeah. So where all the interconnects, the component that has the most interconnects to it goes into the primary earth.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then in order to sort of separate, because the close proximity of power cords will be able to pollute each other. So I always start to dress from the sides. So I dress analog from one side and digital from the other side.
Okay, so there should be separation. So digital should be here, and let's say analog power amplifier should be here, and preamp should go in the primary earth. So
and it doesn't have to be digital in that end. I'm referring to the physical distance between them.
So the noise doesn't like intertwine with each other.
Yeah, exactly.
Because like the noise from the digital and the noise from analog would be very different kind of noise.
Exactly. That's why you aim for having a distance between them. But of course, you got a distribution block. If you got a complex system, you have to position them close to each other. So this is a recommendation or a starting point where you start to have them as far away from each other, and the distance you fill up with Qsine and Qwave. Yeah.
So you have your answer here. Now you know how to plug in your Nordost products.